Part 1. The Prologue. The Mystery of October 3rd, 1849. A rainy Tuesday in Baltimore. A man is found slumped outside a tavern, delirious and dressed in cheap, ill-fitting clothes that aren't his own. He is whispering to shadows, repeating a single name: Reynolds. He spent 4 days in a hospital bed, never regaining enough clarity to explain where he had been for the past week. On his final night, he looked at the ceiling and whispered, "Lord, help my poor soul." Edgar Allan Poe was dead. No autopsy was performed. His medical records vanished. To this day, we don't know if it was heart failure, foul play, or something far more poetic. But while the man died in the gutter, the ghost was just getting started. Part 2. The Curse of the Women. To understand Poe's music, and it was music, even on the page, you have to understand the silence he lived in. Poe was haunted by a very specific ghost, the ghost of the dying woman. By the age of 3, he watched his mother cough up blood and die of tuberculosis. His foster mother, the same. Then came Virginia, his wife, his cousin, his Annabelle Lee. They were so poor they couldn't afford a heater. As Virginia lay dying, Poe would place his heavy velvet overcoat on her bed, and their cat would sleep on her chest just to provide a few degrees of warmth. He watched her fade for 5 years. When you hear the rhythmic, repetitive ache in his writing, you aren't just hearing poetry, you're hearing the literal sound of a man trying to breathe for someone who no longer can. Part 3. The Tragedy. In 1845, Poe released the most famous poem in American history, The Raven. It was a viral sensation before the word existed. People were reciting it in the streets. Children followed him, flapping their arms and croaking, "Nevermore." He was a superstar, and yet he was paid exactly $9 for it. He was the lyrically sound genius of his century, but he died a pauper. He was a man out of time, a dark, gothic soul trapped in a world of industrial soot and greed. If he were here today, in 2026, he wouldn't be in a library. He'd be in the pulse of the machine. He'd be the ghost in the code. Part 4. The Grave and the Toaster. Perhaps the strangest part of Poe's story isn't how he died, but how he was remembered. For over 70 years, a mysterious figure known as the Poe Toaster visited his grave in the dead of night. Every January 19th, in the freezing cold, this shadow would leave 3 red roses in a half-full bottle of French cognac. No one knew who they were. No one ever caught them. It was a silent, ritualistic tribute to a man who lived for the macabre. Tonight, we offer our own tribute. We have taken Poe's 1845 masterpiece, the rhythm of his grief, the meter of his madness, and we have fed it into the heart of the future. This is The Raven, reimagined for the shadows of the digital age. Sit back, dim the lights. This is verse 2 vibe.
Once upon a midnight lonely, mind exhausted, spirit worn, pages breathing borrowed sorrow from the ghost I read before. Eyes half closed, the dark still breathing, then a sound I can't ignore. Softly, slowly, at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. December burned in dying embers, shadows crawling on the floor. Every spark became a memory I can't outrun anymore. I beg my books to numb the silence, ease the ache I can't ignore. For the girl the angels borrowed, Lenore, Lenore, nameless now forevermore. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Quoth the raven nevermore. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Quoth the raven nevermore. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Open wide the door to nothing, just the dark I couldn't see. Spoke her name into the silence, silence whispered back to me. Turned around, the room was burning, something tapping louder now. At the window of my sorrow, let me see, let me know how. Shutters flying, feathers cutting, from the past it steps inside. Black as ink and old as ruin, with the watcher's patient eyes perched above my fading reason. On the wisdom I ignore, I ask its name across the void. It says one word, nothing more. Quoth the raven nevermore. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Quoth the raven nevermore. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Hope flies first, faith goes next. Love is last to disconnect. Call the raven nevermore. And my soul from out the shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Call the raven nevermore. And my soul from out the shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. The raven never leaves the room, still it sits, still it stays. And my soul is trapped in shadow, cast by memories replayed. From that darkness, from that floor, I will rise nevermore.